Alright, so now we are moving into factoring. A65 is going to be your brain dump for factoring. A66 should be a factoring, general guidelines chart. So let's talk about this for just a couple of minutes. Factoring is just undoing the distributive property. It's just undoing the distributive property. All right. We'll talk about the why a little bit more in class as to why we do it, but it gives us the idea, it gives us the understanding when we factor it back out that we understand what the x can and cannot equal, right? To make our equations true. So this guideline flow chart kind of just works through, and we're going to go through all of these different types of factoring. And you use certain ones at certain times depending on what the need is. So start there. Is there a GCF other than one? GCF going back to 6th grade, right? I mean, what is that greatest common factor? If there is, the first thing you will always do, friends, always, is factor out your GCF. Factor out the GCF. This needs to be the first thing that you do. All right? Once you've factored out the GCF, then you go down and you look at what type of polynomial is it. Is it a binomial? If it's a binomial, and there is a difference of squares, then you follow this method. We'll talk about that in a minute. If there's not a difference of squares, is there a difference, sum or difference of cubes? If there is, this is a little bit further. If there's not, you're done, right? A binomial, you may not be able to factor further if it's not one of these things. All right, let's come over here. Is it a trinomial? If it's a trinomial, then let's unfoil it. I will use the box method and the X Games to unfoil it. Then we're going to go, can you factor it further? If yes, then you kind of go back up and you start over, right? Because you could have a binomial that is a difference of squares or a difference or sum of the cubes, and then you could factor it a little bit further. If you can't, then you're done. If it has more than 4 terms, you're going to factor by grouping if it is possible. And then within that, then you can factor either trinomial or binomials as necessary. Okay, so this is kind of just if this, then this explanation for the different types of factoring. All right, we're going to start with factoring using GCF. And so there again, going back to, we've done this all year long, guys, and you've been doing this most of your lives. You just haven't really even realized it. But it is using the distributive property.